The anointed ones, welcome. The universe begins to provide what is intended for you the instant you stop pursuing what isn't. Have you ever had the feeling that the life you once hoped for is becoming too big for you? You're essentially reinventing yourself on every level, not just cognitively, since neuroscientists think your brain may rewire itself entirely every 10 years. It's as if the person you're becoming would look back at the old you and ask, who even was that? The hitch, however, is that becoming your higher self isn't a simple fairy tale. It's a crazy, sometimes disorderly ride. You can be meditating and attracting serenity one day, and then you might be wondering why you feel allergic to 90% of the individuals in your immediate vicinity. Spoiler alert, that's an indicator of elevation, not merely being over the top. Keep checking back because we're going to dissect 12 remarkable indicators that you're evolving into your best self today. Let's just say that the truth may surprise, challenge, and even make you chuckle at how much sense it all makes. Let's get started. First of all, the pain no longer controls you. Rather, it gives you energy. You are no longer a victim of your own suffering. What once defined you, broke you, and made you doubt your value suddenly seems like fuel for something bigger. The anguish is still there, but it no longer governs you. It's not that it has vanished. Rather, you've learned to harness it and turn it into a source of strength. You stand taller, smarter, and more robust when others would fall apart. At first, the procedure wasn't glamorous. You were absorbed by the anguish, which drew you into a vicious cycle of bewilderment, self-pity, and rage. Then, however, something changed. You came to the realization that clinging to it was akin to consuming poison and hoping for sympathy from others. Didn't that epiphany strike you hard? It made you decide whether to turn your sadness into something worthwhile or to remain mired in it. The same suffering that used to make you feel insignificant is now your weapon. When times are hard, it's the fire that keeps you going. When the outside world attempts to divert your attention, it's the grit that keeps you going. You now regard yourself as the creator of your own fate, rather than a victim of your circumstances. The change is noticeable to others around you. They perceive someone who overcomes obstacles with a subtle but indisputable strength. Someone who doesn't falter when faced with hardship. The internal struggle to get here is what they fail to perceive. They are blind to the tears, the restless nights, and the times of uncertainty you overcame. However, that's good since the goal of your path is to become someone you can respect and who can stand by their convictions without apologizing. And that's precisely what you're becoming. Second, you are a universe within yourself and no longer seek approval. You've come to a place where other people's views don't matter. While criticism may be helpful and compliments are pleasant, neither defines you. Since you've come to the realization that none of it has ever been sufficient to satisfy the need inside of you, you've stopped living for likes, applause, or affirmation. Your former pursuit of approbation now seems hollow, with fleeting highs that shift with the wind. Instead, you've created a strong sense of self-worth that remains constant, regardless of who is looking. It's clarity, not arrogance. You've realized that no one else can determine your worth. And to be honest, attempting to win over individuals who don't even know themselves is tiresome. You no longer feel the need to defend your existence or provide an explanation for your decisions. It is their problem, not yours, whether or not people like you. That liberty, it's euphoric. The degree to which this change unnerves individuals is astonishing. Others may see your unwillingness to play their games as a threat, while others may interpret your independence as a sign of disinterest. But you know deep down that it's about finally understanding that your value isn't negotiable, not about them. This does not imply that you have grown distant or unapproachable. Quite the contrary. You've created space for more genuine, profound friendships by letting go of the desire for acceptance. Today's attendees are there because they respect the authentic you, rather than the one you felt compelled to be. What's the greatest part? You don't feel compelled to perform anymore. You may now unreservedly live your life as you see fit. Your spirit feels untamed for the first time, and validation that was once a leash around your neck is now only a murmur in the background. Third, you have X-ray vision, which allows you to see through manipulation. You have an almost supernatural ability to recognize manipulation. It's precision, not paranoia. You can see through people's intentions, words, and body language like neon. Once flattering, it now seems cheap and somewhat offensive. It's as if your inner alarm goes off when someone attempts to take advantage of you or use your generosity against you. You don't need evidence. You had to work for this talent. It wasn't something you just happened to have. Perhaps you've experienced enough deception, abuse, or treachery to finally make the connection. Perhaps you've spent years studying individuals and seen how their words and deeds don't match. In any event, you are no longer a simple target. You no longer find manipulation annoying. It turns you off. You've worked too hard to cut all of your strings, so you can't stand the sensation of someone attempting to pull them. People also take attention. Those who depend on manipulation or dishonesty find it difficult to be near you. They feel that you're on them before they've even begun, and that their typical strategies won't succeed. Although it's not always evident, you can tell when they change their tone, lose confidence, or lose their charm. It forces people to face their own image, akin to holding up a mirror to their goals. The fact that you don't have to confront them is what gives this even greater impact. You now know that sometimes silence speaks louder than words. You just take a back seat, don't interact, and allow their actions reveal them. This is about safeguarding your energy, your boundaries, and your serenity, not about being cynical or unduly suspicious. No one is escaping your notice without an invitation now that you've leveled up. Write Amen for angelic protection and contribute with a super thank you up to $20. Fourth, your vitality attracts the bold and drives away the weak. Your vitality has turned into a filter. Your frequency creates a split the instant it rises. Those who thrive on little conversation, superficiality, or ill-intentioned behavior find it difficult to be around you. Your energy seems too genuine, too powerful, and too unabashedly you, even if they don't understand why. They can perceive it without you having to speak a word. Their comfort zones are challenged by your very presence, and rather than rising to meet you, they disappear. At the same time, you are attracting the attention of another set of individuals. They are the brave, the bold, the people who thrive on connection and genuineness. They see what they've been looking for in you, someone who doesn't shy away from being authentic and doesn't change who they are to fit in. Your energy is an invitation to them, a message that it's okay to be authentic, to go deep, and to quit acting. This change occurs everywhere, not just in relationships. You discover that genuine chats at work energize you, while superficial ones exhaust you. People with substance are more appealing to you in social situations than those who talk or whine, as you favor soul-nourishing encounters above time-killing ones. Even your interests and hobbies shift. The seamless nature of this shift is what gives it such force. People are not being chased or pushed away by you. The task is done for you by your energy. The weak are just not in line with your goals. They are not inherently nasty people, though they may not be flawless. The bold are open to changing and developing with you. Your frequency ultimately serves as a natural magnet, drawing you nearer to the events and people that align with your higher nature. The fifth is that you have accepted your darkness. You no longer avoid the aspects of yourself that other people would want to keep hidden. You've asked your darkness to join you at the table, rather than acting as if they don't exist. At first, it was difficult. It was similar to looking into a mirror that mirrored all of your imperfections, mistakes, and awkward realities that you didn't want to acknowledge. Instead of recoiling, however, you took a closer look and found something remarkable. Your shadows were there to educate you, not to hurt you. This is about balance, not about elevating or allowing the darkness to rule. You've come to see that your goodness, love, and joy are as much a part of you as your sorrow, wrath, fear, and jealousy. Denying them merely gives them more strength in the background. It doesn't make them go away. You have deprived them of that power by recognizing their presence. Furthermore, you are now untouchable as a result of your acceptance. Guilt, shame, and fear cannot control you because you have already conquered and overcome those demons. You dismiss attempts by others to use your shortcomings or errors as weapons. They can't use them against you since you've made peace with them. Self-awareness of this degree is uncommon. Most individuals spent their whole lives feigning perfection out of fear that their darkness would be revealed. However, your humanity is like armor that you wear. You realize that there wouldn't be any difference between the light and the shadows. You have depth, resiliency, and insight because of your darkness. What makes you unique is your bravery to accept every aspect of who you are, including the bits that others are afraid to admit. It's not your adversary, rather, it's your ally. Sixth, before alignment, you draw chaos. It doesn't seem peaceful and lovely while you're on the road of becoming your higher self. Instead, it feels like everything is falling apart. Situations change, people go, and the life you led begins to become unfamiliar. However, this is a clearing, a divine reset to create place for who you're becoming, not a punishment or an indication that anything is amiss. As you ascend, you've probably discovered that certain relationships aren't able to handle the change. Around you, people who used to feel like home now appear far away or uneasy. It's not because you did anything incorrectly. Rather, it's because their stagnation is shown by your progress. Others fade away because they are unable to keep up with the new frequency you are entering, while others cling more tightly, attempting to drag you back into your former self. You're beginning to see that it's essential, even if it hurts. Then there's the inner turmoil, the resurfaced old habits, routines, and beliefs. These are not just chance events. Rather, they are challenges. Chances to face what has been preventing you from moving forward. In ways you have never had to before, you are compelled to confront yourself. Although it might be messy, unpleasant, and draining at times, you know deep down that this is the cost of change. The surroundings change as well. Friends seem out of sync, workplaces feel constrictive, and the routines you formerly adhered to no longer fulfill. In actuality, the turbulence is removing the garbage from your life, even if it seems like you're traveling through a hurricane. The universe is removing what no longer serves you, not shredding things to harm you. You come to trust the process via the chaos. You realize that alignment is vital, raw, and disruptive. It's not tidy and lovely. When all is said and done, you discover that your life has been designed for the true you, rather than the one you outgrew. To share the love of the angels, write Amen and contribute up to $20 with a super thank you. Seventh, your objectives are now more about being than possessing. Your objectives used to be centered on what you could do, get, or demonstrate. Money, fame, or prestige. They were the success standards you used to strive for. However, something has changed inside of you. You no longer find such pursuits exciting until they are connected to something more profound. If the short-lived joy of monetary success doesn't lead to development, meaning, or purpose, it seems hollow. You've begun to realize that material possessions do not always translate into happiness. If you're feeling down, having a large financial account doesn't mean anything. If you're not content with yourself, it doesn't matter what other people think. Furthermore, If achieving success by society's standards means sacrificing your authenticity, it doesn't feel like accomplishment. Alignment now drives your energy instead of accumulation. Your objectives now center on being content with who you are, being genuine in every circumstance, regardless of how other people see you, and being a person who is grounded, deliberate, and unfazed by outside noise. How much you can grow is more important than how much you can acquire. This change does not imply that you have given up on your aim. Rather, it has given it a more focused and significant edge. Success is still something you want, but only on your terms. A goal isn't worth pursuing if it doesn't uplift your spirit or advance your self-mastery. Ironically, when you concentrate on being rather than possessing, you often draw in the same things you used to want. They don't control you this time, however. The strength of your character, the depth of your honesty, and the inner tranquility you possess now identify you more than material belongings or titles. And it seems like real success, more than anything else. Eighth, without uttering a single word, you set them off. People may sense something when they're near you, without you having to say or do anything. Your energy speaks for you. You radiate an unmistakable confidence and honesty when you are in alignment with your higher self. Being so unashamedly truthful that it shocks others to their very core is more important than being haughty or condescending. This is motivating for some people. They see in you what they hope they could be, a person who doesn't hesitate to be true to themselves. Others, however, find it quite unpleasant. Their fears, unhealed scars, and the aspects of themselves they've been avoiding are reflected back by your presence, which turns into a mirror. You don't intentionally do it, but once you've reached your full potential, it's inevitable. You may see surprising reactions from others. In an attempt to preserve their brittle sense of self, some people may become defensive or contemptuous. Some people could entirely distance themselves from you, as if being around you is too much to bear. Others will try to discredit you, not because you have done anything wrong, but because your sheer presence puts their meticulously crafted delusions in jeopardy. The amazing thing is that you are not required to participate. You've come to realize that their responses are entirely their own and have nothing to do with you. Just being your better self has made you a catalyst. This does not imply that you are flawless. Rather, it indicates that you have accepted your flaws and taken ownership of your reality, something that many people are not prepared to do for themselves. Although it's a result of your development, triggering other people is not your intention. By no longer lowering your light to appease others, you have transformed into the kind of person that demands honesty from others, whether or not they are prepared for it. 9. You don't feel like the person you used to be. It's almost like studying a stranger when you consider who you were just a short time ago. The ideas, feelings, and behaviors that previously characterized you seem far away, alien, and almost unrecognizable, leaving you to wonder, was that really me? You seem to have shed the old skin that no longer fits and entered a whole other version of yourself. Your behavior has also changed. You now respond with clarity and purpose, instead of the fear or uncertainty that used to drive your actions. Your priorities have changed. A stronger feeling of purpose has taken the place of what formerly mattered, other people's praise, and the never-ending pursuit of more. Your desires are now motivated by an inner feeling of satisfaction and harmony with your actual self, rather than by transient pleasures or external approval. It's an odd, almost unreal sensation. Your decisions and goals were influenced by the person you believed you should be, and the person you were a year ago, or even a few weeks ago, was living in a different environment. That individual feels like a ghost now. It's difficult to fathom your life without the assurance, insight, and clarity you now possess. This is evolution, not only growth. It seems like you've been reborn, slowly, gradually, one change at a time, rather than in a sudden life-altering event. Although the alterations are indisputable, it is first worrisome, since it is impossible to determine when they occurred. You stand in the brilliance of your freshly awakened individuality, and the old self that formerly controlled your existence now seems like a shadow. That's how you know you've entered your higher self. It's you, but it's not. Stepping into your higher self ultimately involves shedding layers, letting go of old tales, and accepting a version of yourself that is unabashedly honest and completely in line with your soul's purpose. Not about reaching perfection or following a predetermined route. Every indication of this change, whether it's your unwavering knowledge, your brutally honest choices, or the serenity you discovered in quiet, indicates that you are becoming rather than just existing. The greater self is a lived reality, rather than a far-off ideal. These days, it permeates every decision you make, every idea you have, and every action you do. Even though the path may be difficult and even nasty at times, each setback puts you one step closer to discovering your true self. Have faith in that process and understand that the development, the trouble, and the lessons are all a part of the divine plan that is guiding you to your greatest potential. Keep in mind that the higher self is already inside you and is only waiting to manifest in ways that are specifically unique to you as you continue to grow. Perfection is not necessary. All you need is the guts to be yourself, to stick to your convictions, and to have faith that the world is leading you in the right direction. You are the masterpiece you have been waiting for, and you are growing into your greatest self with every step. Continue to change. There is yet the best to come. You're on the correct track if you sense the change, and if you've identified these indicators in yourself. Your trip is just beginning, so keep moving forward. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if this message spoke to you, and you want to keep discovering more about your higher self and get even more life-improving insights. Become a part of this amazing group of people that are developing and realizing their full potential. Together, let's continue to develop, one step at a time, one insight at a time. For more impactful information that will awaken, empower, and change you, subscribe today and stay tuned. What follows is something you won't want to miss. May you be blessed.